Hey guys, so this is another quick vid for me. This is mostly for Marco Rubio 2012. He wants to know my thoughts on the PSP or PlayStation Vita or PS Vita, which is the new latest handheld system from Sony PlayStation or Sony. He asked me if I thought about getting it or if I planned on getting it or not, because he's been thinking about getting it himself or wait for the PlayStation, or not PlayStation, but the Nintendo Wii U, which is due sometime out this fall, September or November. But anyway, I have thought about getting the PlayStation Vita, the PS Vita. Really nice piece of machinery, awesome system. I've seen it up close and in person. I've got a good look at it. I know what it can do. My only thing, I like I said, beautiful piece of machinery. $250 for the Wi-Fi, $50 for just the regular internet, which is from AT&T, which I think, is why not get the $300 one, instead of the Wi-Fi for $250, where you're just like, you have to find an internet-free access place. I mean, why do that when you just spend an extra $50 and you can get internet whenever, wherever for free? Yeah, I've seen it firsthand. Beautiful piece of machinery. I have thought about getting it, but two things have held me back for it. One is that I don't want a repeat of what happened to the PlayStation Portable. I don't want a repeat of what happened to PlayStation, the PSP. What Sony did to the PSP. When I bought the PSP was hot, awesome handheld. I still think it's one of the best handheld systems today because it was just so far and ahead of its time. The PSP system was hot. Unfortunately, a year after Sony released the system, or maybe a little bit after a year, but probably a good year later, they kind of start lacking behind and stop supporting or making games supporting the Sony PSP. So, and it's like, I don't want to spend $300 on the Vita, and Sony ends up doing the same thing what they did with the PSP, 8 years ago, and that's like, after a year and a half, they stop making games and they stop supporting the system. I don't want that, because if I'm going to invest my money into something, I want it to be I want it, if I invest my money into something, I want it to be well worth it. I want my money's worth. I don't want to invest $300 into an entertainment system, and you're only going to come out with 8 titles, most of them crappy. That's not really helping support the system. So that's one thing that's kind of preventing me from the Vita. I kind of want to wait. I kind of want to wait and see what the. I kind of want to see how Sony are going to market the Vita and other future titles and games that will come out later this year, going into the next. Once the PS Vita looks like it has a strong marketing behind it, and but Sony are staying behind the Vita and not just making the Vita and moving on to something else, then I'll strongly consider getting the Vita. Second thing that also concerns me about the PS Vita, which kind of makes me leery not getting it as of late right now, is that regardless of the amazing things that the Vita has and that it can do, it does not have a built-in memory. You have to buy a separate memory, pretty much like a little memory stick that you have to buy for the Vita, which can be a bit pricey because the memory sticks holds about, I think, 32 GB, and for each memory stick, it's like around $35. So you'd be pretty much spending hundreds of dollars just to buy these dang memory chips or these memory sticks for the Vita, which I kind of don't understand. I kind of don't get. So I mean, like I said, for example, so for the PSP Vita, for the PlayStation Vita, you can do tons of stuff. You can, download movies, stream them, off the internet or just straight from your PlayStation 3, as well as, purchase online former PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 video games as well. But for each game, it takes about like 5 to 10 gigabytes worth of space. So you take that on a 32 GB memory card, it's gonna take up a lot of memory. So it's like, okay, you have a 32 GB memory stick, and you download a movie, which may take about, say, like 1/4 of that space, or a quarter of that space. That's not helping. That's not a good thing. Where if you download something that takes the majority of the space you have in your little memory stick, which would cost you to buy another memory stick, which runs, I think, around $35, $40, pretty pricey. So, with that being said, that's something else that kind of prevents me in getting the PlayStation Vita as of now. I kind of want to sit and wait and see if PlayStation will make an updated version with built-in memory. Because with today's technology that we have, with the built-in memory and stuff, I don't see how come Sony can't put, of all the fantastic things that Vita can do, I don't see how they can put in a built-in memory storage system inside the handheld game system. I don't get it whatsoever. I mean, Nintendo DS, the data is downloaded into the game. How come how come Sony can do that for the Vita? How come your saved data can just be stored within the game, or with even inside the system itself? So those are the two things that kind of prevent me from going right ahead and getting the PlayStation Vita. Like I said, I've seen it firsthand. I've played it. Really nice piece of machinery, but for me personally, I'm gonna hold off on it. Like I said, until they come out with an updated version where they make a PlayStation Vita that has a built-in memory unit, or rather they lower the dang prices on those darn memory sticks, which I think is just ridiculous. I mean, for 32 GB, you pay like $35. That's absolutely ridiculous, and the type of space that, the games and different downloads acquire. You'll be buying like 10 memory sticks, which will go up in the hundreds of dollars, which is just absolutely ridiculous. So until they change that, and until I see a strong marketing strategy behind the PlayStation Vita, I'm gonna hold off on it. So with me giving you my thoughts on this, you might want to hold off on it too. I don't know. I mean, you can still get it if you want, but as for me, these are the reasons why I'm gonna hold off on the Vita as of right now. Because one thing, I'm starting to see a trend with Sony, over the last few, say 5 years, is that they invest in something, they make a whole lot of money into a particular system, and after a while, they just kind of kick to the curb, stop investing in it, after like a year or a year and a half, and they move on to something else. They did that with PSP, they kind of did it with the PlayStation 2, they kind of stopped the PlayStation 2, and the PlayStation 3 wasn't due out for like another 3 years, but they kind of stopped and put a halt to the PS2 a little bit. The PlayStation 2 went lacking, the PSP went lacking, the PlayStation Go, that didn't even have air to breathe. I mean, that was here one day and gone the next. PlayStation Move, not so much, and PlayStation 3, Sony has also not really, I'd say in the last year and a half, and PlayStation 4 is not going to come out to 2014. But still, in that saying, since late 2010 up until now, Sony has been lacking even when it comes to supporting their PlayStation 3 system. They still have a huge game of libraries. They're still going to come out with video games, but they kind of taken a little bit bump in the PlayStation 3 sales as well. So I've seen this stuff firsthand to know what I'm talking about here. So hopefully, Sony could get their crap together, seriously. So hopefully, like I said, they'll support the Vita. Like I said, looking at how things are going, when PS4 comes out 2014, they're not going to invest in the Vita anymore. I can guarantee you that. The Vita is probably going to be, and next year is 2013. We have one more year, or 2 years really, to 2014. So it kind of makes you wonder how long are they really going to support the Vita. They're going to support it this year, and then come next year, just kind of kick it to the curb. I don't know, I have to wait and see. But these are my reasons as to why I probably won't get a Vita as of right now. Kind of wait and hold off until they change these few things that I mentioned in this video earlier. So let me know what you got, or anyone else that sees this video besides Marco Ribio 2012. You guys interested in the PlayStation Vita? Yes or no? Marco, to me personally, in my opinion, I'd wait for the Wii U if I were you, because that thing's probably going to sell. Not probably, it's going to be a guarantee. That thing's going to sell like a hotcake. It's supposed to come out in November, but now Nintendo say they may release it September-ish. So they're going to release it around the holiday season. So if I were you, I'd wait to get the Nintendo, because Nintendo will spend more time in investing in their system than Sony would probably in the Vita. I'm just saying, if you get the Vita, it'll be a risk. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about this video, or, video or PS Vita. Comment, subscribe. Peace.